I died and saw Galaxies discover the secrets of the afterlife. Late one night, when I was around 17, I found myself in a car crash with my sisters and a friend behind the wheel. We were heading back from a club, tired but wired from the night's adventures. Suddenly, another car came speeding, jolting our friend and sending us careening into a tree. In the chaos, I realized our friend was out cold. Panic surged as I tried to call out to my sisters, but no words escaped my lips. I knew I had to act fast to get us help. Summoning all my strength, I pried open the door and helped my sisters out. Thankfully, some kind souls stopped to assist, even offering us their taxi to reach the hospital. But there was confusion. I thought both my sisters were with me, only to discover later that one was still at the crash site. At the hospital, everything felt like a whirlwind. Nurses rushed us to the ER, urgency thick in the air. Despite feeling no pain, I was consumed by worry for my sister Pam, who was by my side. But as I tried to communicate, I found my voice failing me. I couldn't even recall my boyfriend's name or number when I needed him most. The whole situation felt like a hazy dream, disorienting and surreal. A male nurse gently insisted I get into a wheelchair, but I refused until I could see Pam. When I finally did, her words shook me apparently. There was a hole in my forehead. It was then that exhaustion and coldness enveloped me, despite feeling oddly detached from any real harm. As they wheeled me into the operating room, I shivered uncontrollably, the cold seeping into my bones. The doctor's voice was distant as he asked me questions, the room spinning around me. He instructed me to count, but my mind drifted as sleep beckoned. Even as I fought to stay awake, the world seemed to lose its weight. I marveled at the sensation of feeling my toes, wondering why the medical staff didn't stop me from moving. Then, suddenly I felt weightless, as if I was floating away from it all. I recall a sensation of weightlessness, as if I was being carried by a gentle breeze, floating effortlessly. Inside the theatre room, I watched from above as doctors and nurses worked frantically on my body. It felt surreal, like I was experiencing something entirely different from the stories I'd heard about death. Turning my gaze to the wall beside me, I sensed something approaching. Suddenly, a star descended from the ceiling, stopping beside my leg. Without control over my body, I floated to sit upon it, observing the scene below. My sister was in another room, receiving care for her broken arm. In that moment, I felt a profound sense of peace. There was no sadness or fear, only overwhelming joy and love. It was unlike anything I'd ever known, a pure acceptance and merging into a vortex of love. It felt like coming home, a relief from all burdens, a sanctuary of perfect serenity. As I gazed upon the hospital and then Singapore below, I knew I didn't want to return to earthly life. This was where I belonged, immersed in this blissful state. Promising myself I wouldn't go back, the star carried me further, offering breathtaking views of the planet, the sun, the moon, and the entire galaxy. Despite the vastness of it all, I remained calm, relaxed, and filled with joy. Even as the star journeyed on, I felt no fear, no trace of my former fear of heights. It was an exhilarating ride, far surpassing any roller coaster, and I relished every moment. Lost in the breathtaking beauty of the galaxy, its vibrant colors and dazzling lights held me spellbound. Despite the absence of anyone around me, a soft, comforting voice echoed in the void, telling me it wasn't my time to return home. I resisted, adamant about staying, but the voice persisted, urging me to go and enjoy myself. Its gender eluded me, but its gentle tone was persuasive. Desperate to stay, I clung to the star, but suddenly I felt a force pulling me downward. As I hurtled towards Earth, the sights blurred by in a dizzying rush. From the expanse of the galaxy to the familiar lights of Singapore, I descended, passing through ceilings until I collided back into my body with a jolt. Slowly, I regained consciousness, aware that what I'd experienced wasn't a dream. Yet I kept the encounter to myself, uncertain if others would believe me. It was a glimpse of what people called unconditional love, a moment I cherished despite its mystery. If you're curious about similar near-death experiences, I recommend watching the story of a woman declined entry to heaven, as explained by God. It's a fascinating exploration of the afterlife.